My name's Clare Crossman. I'm a published poet. I've published 3 pamphlets and 2 collections, and I'm running at the moment a 2-month pilot writing workshop at the Cambridge Arts Salon, looking at nature in the city, the relationship between the wild and the cities, where the things meet, where they depart, what they have in common. We have 6 members. And the group actually started because every February the 1st I run a writing workshop in a woodland for a friend of mine who runs some arts workshops there. And at the end of that workshop, a couple of the women who came, who are very involved in Cambridge Transitions, which is a group that looks at sustainable food, they said, "Oh, we'd love to carry on doing some writing. Will you start a group?" So I went away and I thought, because the 2 women, Jackie and Ellie, lived in Cambridge, I thought, where can I actually go in Cambridge that's an accessible space which understands the arts and isn't just a soulless room somewhere that I have to pay a great deal of money for. And because last year I'd been involved with the Cambridge Arts Salon and their organisation of the Romsey Arts Festival, I thought, I will go and ask Ruthie at the Cambridge Arts Salon if I can rent the space for a couple of hours once a week for the next 2 months to see if we can run this as a group. And we have, and we're planning to start again in September after the end of May, because obviously things to do with nature, and whether you're in a city or whether in the countryside, are all dependent on the weather and the seasons, and there are many issues, particularly at this time, to think about and write about. Cross over. And so, because Jackie had mentioned one time when Sarah couldn't think of what to write, about sort of just inventing a name for somewhere, I brought in a really famous poem by Jen Hadfield called 9-0 Place. Mm-hmm. And the form of it is sort of a Gallic, it's very incantatory, it's like a Gallic, it echoes Gallic speech. So I bought you a copy of that. And everybody had a go at doing that, and everybody came up with completely different things. And Jackie is going to read the one that she wrote. Yes. And we spent a lot of time, we found it a very playful poem to look at, and it led people to invent lots of different things and have fun with it, really.
Okay, so I'm Jackie Sutton Adam, and I'm a member of this lovely writing group, and we meet once a week, and I'm going to read my poem. So, will you come out with me? Let's walk up Trickledown Mountain, let's stroll down Upshot Lane, let's wander over Goldsworthy Meadows and take a stroll over Pebble Cross Mound. The Hog's Back beckons, the silent pool calls. I can show you where stars stream down on Nine Fires Mound. Let's do a picnic, eat crab and mayo sandwiches at Cow and Calf Rock, or crunch on salty crisps at Beady Bay. Smell the heather and watch bees on Wingletang Down. We'll walk along Dog Drops Lane. I'll show you the old granite shape we call the Rock King's Throne. Thank you.
So as a result of that, and it leading, we ended up having a conversation about Gallic walking songs, but walking songs aren't actually songs to do with walking. They were songs and chants when people were pulling the loom across to dye and weave Harris tweed. But we decided last week that we would begin every session with an ancient form of poetry, because the roots of poetry are sort of so much connected with the ancient world. So this week I thought we would start by having a go at writing a riddle. But I'm going to read you an Anglo-Saxon riddle which has survived from the Exeter book. See if you can guess what it is. My dress is silent when I tread the ground, or stay at home, or stir upon the waters. Sometimes my trappings and the lofty air raise me above the dwelling place of men, and then the power of clouds carries me far above the people. And my ornaments loudly resound, send forth a melody and clearly sing, when I am not in touch with earth or water, but a flying spirit.
I have to say, riddles never been my strong point.
It's a
Even
swan.
the easy ones,
It's a
like
swan.
Queen and Harry and
Yes.
goes up and down.
Wind.
Well, yes, I mean they are quite difficult
Yeah, I was thinking
to get.
kite as well.
There's another one. Oh, this is a great one. Number 47. A moth ate words, a marvellous event. I thought it when I heard about that wonder. A worm had swallowed some man's lay. A thief in darkness had consumed the mighty saying with its foundation firm. The thief was not one whit the wiser when he ate those words.
A book.
Bookworm.
A book.
They give me joy as I proceed, wrote John Clare afield paths simply. Me too. My left hand hooks you round the waist, declared Walt Whitman. Companionably, erotically, coercively in Leaves of Grass, 1855. My right hand points to landscapes of continents and a plain public road. Footpaths are mundane in the best sense of that word, worldly, open to all, as rights of way determined to sustain by use.
I've travelled far this past winter, but seen not much more than tarmac. 2 holes have I, one intended, and one from too much travel.
Wheels?
Shoes. My old boot.
Oh,
My
fantastic! Fantastic!
Yes, it's. I don't know if there is a hole at the bottom. That was poetic licence, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's really hard. I don't know what it is about about riddles that make you.
It's because you're in that imaginative territory. It's not, you can't say it directly, you have to say it indirectly
Yeah.
through images and metaphors.
And I think also when I come to, I've got, I kind of go into left brain mode when I come to hear a riddle. And actually, really, I'd be better off staying in the right brain mode and just floating into the imagery really a bit. I'll try that.
Could we maybe fill a few examples of his poems? And the one poem that jumped out at me is called Farewell, which he wrote, I think, because he was alive when they enclosed the land in the late 18th, early 19th century. And I think this is one of his poems of enclosure. Farewell to the bushy clump close to the river, and the flags where the butterbump hides in forever. Farewell to the weedy nook hemmed in by waters. Farewell to the miller's brook and his 3 bonny daughters. Farewell to them all while in prison I lie. In the prison a thrall sees naught but the sky. Shut out to the green fields and birds in the bushes. In the prison yard nothing builds, blackbirds or thrushes. Farewell to the old mill and dash of waters, to the miller and dearer still to his 3 bonny daughters. In the nook the larger burdock grows near the green willow. In the flood round the moorcock dashes under the billow. To the old mill farewell, to the lock, pens and waters, to the miller himself and his 3 bonny daughters. I'm actually the play, which is all set in the Forest of Arden. We come from
As You
somewhere,
Like It.
As You Like It, where rivers are our books. There's nothing mortal in them. Their decay is the green life of change, to pass away and come again in blooms revivified. Its birth was heaven, eternal in its stay, and with the sun and moon shall still abide beneath their dame. And in folk songs, those are often written from the point of view of somebody who's been deceived in love.
Yeah.
And somebody gets murdered, or somebody drowns in a pool, or so people for generations have been going out walking to sort out or think or meditate upon